In the heart of the Deep South, Evelyn grew up as a half-breed, caught between two worlds. Her mother, Alma, worked tirelessly as a maid in a wealthy household, and Evelyn often helped in the grand house, observing the stark differences between her world and theirs. With skin lighter than her mother's but features that spoke to her mixed heritage, Evelyn stood out, a blessing and a curse. Alma dreamed of a better future for her daughter, sacrificing every spare penny to send Evelyn to college for 2 years. Evelyn embraced her education with determination, knowing it was her ticket to a better life. When she attended her first grand ball, she dazzled the room. Her beauty, intellect, and grace captivated Thomas, the handsome heir to the wealthiest family in town. The attraction was mutual, and Evelyn allowed herself to dream of a life beyond the shadows of prejudice. Jealousy, however, is never silent. A group of young women, bitter at the attention Evelyn commanded, began to investigate her background. At a subsequent ball, during an extravagant dinner, one of them announced loudly, "I didn't know you were black." The room froze, all eyes turning to Evelyn. The weight of the moment crushed her. Thomas's interest disappeared in an instant. Whispers followed her home that night, and invitations to balls ceased entirely. Evelyn had been cast out, her dreams of belonging shattered. Years later, a major corporation opened in the city, bringing hope of economic revival. Evelyn and Alma applied for positions alongside many familiar faces from the balls. Both were hired, but the old prejudices lingered. Evelyn worked diligently, earning recognition despite quiet snubs and deliberate attempts to undermine her. Alma, always her anchor, reminded her, "We're here to make a living, not to win approval." The company thrived, and with it came promotions. While many of Evelyn's former peers rose quickly to supervisory roles, Evelyn had to fight for every small advancement. Her dedication didn't go unnoticed, but it also attracted envy. A group of supervisors conspired to sabotage her career. They made her the scapegoat for errors, started arguments, and painted her as unfit for leadership. When Evelyn applied for a lead position, their schemes worked. She was passed over. Still, she persisted, confiding her frustrations to Alma over dinner. Alma's advice, simple yet profound, kept Evelyn grounded. "These companies come and go, but we'll always have each other. Focus on the good we have now." As fate would have it, the company's new owner and director, James Whitmore, began to notice Evelyn's work. At first, he was puzzled by the resistance she faced from her colleagues. When a promotion came up, the same group of supervisors schemed to humiliate her, creating a false narrative that she didn't know what she was doing. Their constant arguments and complaints caught James's attention. Sensing something was off, James reviewed Evelyn's performance and noticed her consistent results and previous promotions. Digging deeper, he called a meeting with the supervisors and asked about her. "She's a good worker," they admitted reluctantly, "but she doesn't deserve a leadership role." "Why is that?" James pressed. "Well, she's always getting into arguments and isn't a team player. We've known that black girl since childhood." "Black?" James asked, startled. "Yes, well," they fumbled. James's voice grew cold. "Careful. This is an equal opportunity workplace. Refer to her as a worker, not by her race." "Oh, of course, sorry." Their casual prejudice struck a chord with James, reminding him of his parents' disapproval when he'd fallen in love with a black woman in his 20s. The heartbreak of losing her had kept him from marrying. When an even higher position became available a year later, Evelyn applied. But the schemers redoubled their efforts, sabotaging her work and fabricating evidence to make her appear incompetent. They presented their case to James, suggesting that Evelyn should be fired. Before James could act, Alma requested a meeting with him. When Alma walked into his office, James froze, recognizing her immediately as his old love. Time had etched lines of resilience into her face, but her presence still struck him deeply. "It's been a long time," he said softly. "Yes," Alma replied, her voice steady. "I'm here to speak about my daughter. She's being treated unfairly, and I thought you should know the truth about what's happening." As she explained the conspiracy against Evelyn, James was moved, but a deeper realization struck him as he glanced at Evelyn's personnel file. Her birthday was listed, and it was 8 months after their breakup. Wait, he interrupted. We were still together 8 months before she was born. You weren't seeing anyone else, were you? No, Alma admitted, her eyes misting. James's voice trembled. Is she my daughter? Yes, Alma whispered. She is our daughter. James sat back in his chair, overwhelmed. I've never married, never had children. I thought I had no family, and now... He paused, then stood. Call our daughter. I want to take both of you to dinner. At this time, no one else knew Evelyn's parentage. But when James called a company-wide meeting to make a big announcement, the entire call center buzzed with speculation. The building was lavishly decorated, and employees whispered, I didn't know he had a daughter. James's secretary, in her 70s, and his longtime confidant added to the excitement. She's lovely and very intelligent, she said with a knowing smile. When the moment arrived, James stepped onto the stage, flanked by Alma and Evelyn. He began, I've built this company with a vision of fairness and opportunity, and today it's an honor to introduce my daughter as the new vice president. The room fell silent as realization dawned. Evelyn was his daughter. Shock rippled through the crowd, especially among those who had mocked her. Over the next 10 years, Evelyn proved herself an exceptional leader, transforming the company culture and elevating its success. James also appointed Alma as Director of Human Relations, trusting her wisdom and experience. More importantly, those years brought healing and joy to their family. Alma and James rediscovered their bond, though Alma chose to remain a close friend rather than rekindle their romance. For Evelyn, who had endured so much rejection, finding her father and achieving success brought a sense of belonging she had never known. Her journey was not just a personal victory. It was a testament to the strength of love, the power of redemption, and the unbreakable bonds of family.